Welcome to this month's Friends You Keep. As they say, we are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. And at Erin Wellness, we believe that sustainable health and wellness is an accumulation of 5 pillars: the thoughts you think, the friends you keep, daily movement, nutrition, and lastly, supplementation. So each month we feature guests doing exceptional things that will hopefully inspire you to step into all you are destined to be. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this month's Friends You Keep. I am super excited today to welcome Melissa Mills. Welcome, Melissa.
Hello, thanks for having me.
So excited to have you today. So Melissa Mills has been at the helm of Spread'em Kitchen for the last decade. It started with only $500, a bike and a blender in 2014. Like, that is the coolest thing I think I've ever heard of. From a humble farmer's market stand into a 20,000 square foot facility in Richmond, BC, Melissa has nurtured Spread'em Kitchen into Canada and US distributed, an award-winning producer of healthy and nutritious cashew-based dips and cheese alternatives, which I have some here. And if you don't, you should go buy some because they are amazing. Melissa is a visionary leader, a passionate and inspiring speaker on a variety of topics, from bootstrapping in tough economic times to using good food to bring people together, a priceless resource to her small business peers, and a powerful community voice for positive change in the world. Thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, I'm excited to chat.
Yeah. So let's kind of go back to the beginning. Can you tell me about your journey and how it is taking you today with this incredible business that you have that's in Canada and also the US?
Yeah, so it sort of started by accident, as a lot of really great businesses do. I was a graphic designer at the time. It wasn't really fulfilling me. I was also working at Whole Foods in the produce department, which I actually really loved. And I learned a lot about business from working at Whole Foods through osmosis, actually. And then I just thought, okay, I need some extra money because I really want to sort this out. I was in my 30s and I was like, I just need a change. So I started making these and selling them at the farmer's market out of our home. And they just went off. People were going absolutely crazy for them. People were calling me saying, can you meet me in the Starbucks parking lot? I'm really afraid I'll never see you again. I don't know when the next farmer's market is, or I might not be able to go. And I need like 20 of them. Like, they were filling their freezers. Um, and when I started asking like why people were so excited about them, of course, they had never tasted anything as bright and powerful. Most things are kind of all taste the same, or they all, they have sort of subdued flavors so that they appeal to more people. But each individual flavor of ours has its own distinct, and it's quite strong tasting. But it was also that there are a lot of people that had allergies. So not just like vegans and vegetarians, but people who have, and more you're seeing this, having serious issues with food hurting them, and they just love the fact that they could have something that's sort of meant for fun, entertaining indulgence that actually didn't hurt them when they ate it, and they could enjoy just being normal and not having to worry about their food allergies at the time. And that kind of pressed us on for a while, but then, people were pushing us to get into stores so that they could get it more in a more reliable way. And I was like, okay, how do you Google? How do you get a barcode? Okay. I still didn't have a car at the time. I would go on my bike with these little paper bags with some dip inside. And then I made these little snack bundles that had different chips and crackers so that when I dropped it off to the store manager or whoever, they could taste it right then and there. So we started it with about 5 stores, quickly grew to 60, and then quickly went into distribution. And we made our first $1 million in the first year and a half of business.
Wow.
And we were still in a commissary. So we moved from our home into a commissary kitchen, but I still just had a little table and a shelf. And, we're pumping out $1 million worth of dip.
That's
It was really exciting. It was
Yeah.
scary too, because I knew nothing about business. I knew nothing about managing people. I've been quite a solitary creature for most of my life. So it was a whole other thing trying to learn how to hire, how to get along with people, how to get people to get along with each other, how to pay people, and just all those things. So
Okay. So how do you come up because you create, how many dips do you have right now in total?
I think we kind of trimmed it back, actually. We got rid of 4 SKUs. So I think we're back down to like 10 or 11, maybe 12 dips. And then we have a line of kind of like Borson style cheese,
We
soft
had it
cheese style.
actually this past weekend at my birthday. We had the dips out on the charcuterie table. So that was amazing. they were very much used. I looked at the beet one, love
Mhm.
that one. It was like empty. People are like scraping the
Their
sides.
fingers in it? Yeah, all the time. I get pictures on Instagram, people showing me, like, they're putting their finger in the tub. It's quite adorable.
So good, so good. So how do you come up with new innovations? Is it just all of a sudden maybe you're eating a food dish and you're like, gosh, it should be great to have this in a dip? Is that kind of how it?
Well, it's sort of, I guess I'm really inspired by spices. I'm really inspired by, like, global cuisine. I did a lot of traveling in my younger years as well. And I'm really inspired by health.
Mhm.
So, like, we have one flavor that's truffle Nigella seeds, which Nigella is like a super antioxidant. It does so many amazing things for your body and your mind. It's sort of like this master spice. And so I like to sort of add things like that to help people also just like expand their repertoire of spices. But maybe there's going to be the odd person who actually Googles what Nigella seed is, and they're going to see all these awesome benefits to it, and then they'll just go down a different rabbit hole of, just health and wellness. So I think it's like a balance between better for you and my just natural curiosity for things, but also like application. So, sauces are a great thing that you put on things you want to taste good. And as someone who's like tries to eat healthy as much as possible, I often find that just having a healthy, better for you sauce of some kind just makes the whole meal more exciting, because you can only eat so much salad and chicken breast or broccoli and these sorts of things. But if you can switch up your sauce every time, it feels like you're eating, it can be an Indian inspired sauce, and then it makes the dish have that bit of a flair. It just kind of like keeps things more interesting.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, they're fantastic. And when I was looking at the stats, so the dip and spreads market size has grown strongly in recent years. It will grow from 98.02 billion in 2023 to 103.86 billion in 2024. And that's a compound annual rate of 6%, and it's going to be 132.1 billion by 2028. Like that's staggering, right? When you look at that, and that's dips and spreads. Like that's incredible if you think of that. And so, given that incredible growth, how do you plan on grabbing a market share of that? I mean, I know you guys are in the States now. You're in Erewhon, so we need to give a jazz hands to that.
Yeah, that's really
Beyond
exciting.
cool that you're in Erewhon. For those of you who don't know, Erewhon's a very high-end, exclusive, like $25 smoothie place that everybody wants to go to when they go to. So how
Yeah,
do you plan
we're in
on
Mother's Market as well, and a few other stores are coming on shortly. Well, in the US, the market for hummus is actually quite high. It's around 83 million. In Canada, it's quite a bit lower. But then you have your other sort of dips and spreads and salsa. So there's three main components of that category. Um, we don't really think about market share that much. What we think about is solving a problem.
Hmm.
And the problem that we solve for people is something that is clean, short ingredients lists. Dairy free is kind of the main thing. Most dips and spread, besides hummus, are like a mayonnaise based or high in seed oils, mostly seed oils. So we kind of like put health first. They're probiotic as well.
Oh,
So it helps with digestion, but it also helps us with shelf life. So we're able to have no preservatives in our product through the natural art of fermentation.
wow.
And then on top of that, to compete against hummus, we're low carb. So the fermentation process as well removes all the carbs. So if you're looking to balance, because hummus is great, it's really high in fiber, it's got a good amount of protein. Our stuff has about the same amount of protein as a hummus, but you need to kind of like switch it up, of course, right? So ours sort of fits this other special thing where instead you can balance your proteins and your fats and no carbs,
Yeah.
and dairy free. So the creaminess of the product is really what people really love about it, and it's good for people who are not vegan, of course. People who just want something that tastes really, really delicious. The flavors as well is something we focus on. Instead of red pepper and roasted garlic, we have innovative flavors like truffle and dill, or also, of course, beet and balsamic, and those sorts of things is like what I think keeps us a little different, but not so different because you don't want to be weird,
Yeah.
right? Something I really learned early on. I had some weird flavors also that I tested in the farmer's market. I had like a pine needle, pine tip, and sage dip, and oh no, it was charred black plum with pine tip. It was actually very good.
Yeah.
But also like you've got the weirdos who want to try that stuff, but like you can't be
Yeah.
too weird in business. That's a number one thing too. You want to be different, but you don't want to be weird.
Yeah. No, I agree with that too. And what do you believe is your biggest challenge with Spread'em? What do you think is one of the biggest challenges to kind of like getting your name out in that category?
I think it's two small things, not huge or anything, but one is just we're learning as we grow.
Yeah.
We have tried, but it didn't quite work out for us to bring on people who are smarter than us or who are supposed to be some gurus in the industry. And for us, that didn't work out. I have a feeling that Spread'em and me, we're on a bit of a different path. We're on a path of discovery of who we are, like who I am as a business owner, as an innovator, as a creative human being. Um, we're not really on the path to make a quick dollar either. Like, we're not going to go on the stock exchange. I'm not really interested in buying a villa in Italy. Like, maybe if it comes organically to the trajectory of kind of what we're working towards. But I think the challenge in that can be you can be a bit slower, right? Like we make mistakes and then there's no fast track to erasing the mistake or pivoting. Like we literally have to spend the time to work through mistakes, or not mistakes, but things that
Lessons.
didn't work out. Lessons. Yeah,
Yeah.
lessons. Opportunities.
Yeah.
And in that has been so great. Like when I started this business, I had zero self-esteem, I would say. Like I had like a regular amount of self-esteem, but not really self-worth.
Hmm.
um, and I would say that today I wouldn't even recognize the person that I was
Oh,
when
I
I
love that.
started this business in a really wonderful way. I mean, bless her, the Melissa Mills that started this scrappy business. So, she was, rough around the edges and was willing to give whatever she could into a more refined, tactical, strategic, warm person who's able to adapt, not take things personally, like, and who's able to just give, I guess. And I think that part of Spread'em is the journey, and it's kind of also the difficult part of kind of what we're doing. Is like it's not all about business here at all.
Yeah.
It's
I
about
love
learning
that.
more. Hmm.
And so part of, I mean, if you think of Spread'em, you're kind of talking about, the future here. I know you guys are going through a rebrand now. Can you share a little bit about that and what kind you're going to be morphing into? Because I really love the new name too, you're going to be adapting to.
Yeah, so hilarious story again, like right along the lessons and the learning. So we trademarked Spread'em back in the day in Canada. But again, I didn't really know what this business was going to do or where we were going to go with it. So we didn't trademark Spread'em Kitchen in the U.S. When we looked into it, when we were starting expanding, it was still available, but we didn't. I guess it didn't come up. We did hire someone to help us do the search and everything, but it didn't come up. There was a brand called Spread with three M's, and I guess in the United States, just even this same name sound can cause confusion, and therefore those two, you can't, it didn't get approved. And I was like, oh no, like I had already printed the packaging, I had already gotten a booth at Expo, I had already had sales conversations, I was already like pretty much signed in for distribution, and I had to pull all of that back,
Oh my God.
which was really annoying, and also kind of costly as
Yeah, no
well.
kidding.
And it's just kind of, I was like, oh man, do I even want to? But then had a focus group. We did some name things. I came up with about 10 different names. All of them had been taken. So then at the last minute, I was like, how about like my childhood nickname, which was Millsy? I grew up in a small town in Ontario, kind of hockey towny related. So, people used to always put IE on the back of people's last names, like, hey, Millsy.
Oh, funny.
And so that's kind of how it sort of came about. And then I liked it because the first one I really wanted was like bestie, or something that really sort of encompassed what we do for people. We
Mhm.
are people's ride or die. When you're sad, you've been broken up with, you grab your Spread'em Kitchen, you grab your chips, you put on your rom com, you cozy up on the couch and you scarf. or like, you're on a road trip with your best
Yeah.
friends, you're going to a secret swimming hole. You've got your Spread'em Kitchen because
Yeah.
it's just special day. Barbecues, games nights. People bring Spread'em when they want to impress people or they want to like invest in this really special thing to share with people they love. But that wasn't available, so I thought like Millsy is your bestie. It is your best friend who knows all things snacks.
That should be
um
your little tagline, your best friend that knows all things snacks. Milky, I
yeah.
love that. That's it right there. I love it.
Yeah. And so we're still kind of going through it. So it's active now in the US. That's the name that we're trading in or buying, sold, whatever business,
Number one,
doing
yeah.
business under. Yeah, our doing business as, our DBA. And then we're thinking about how we're going to be transitioning that to Canada. So for a while we thought, oh, maybe we'll just keep Spread'em in Canada. But we're not going to do that now. So we're just kind of working out on a rollout, and we're going to turn that into a bit of a social media thing too, and kind of make it more of a community based sort of transfer of things. And so the packaging will be changing, but it will be saying something along the lines of like, Spread'em Kitchen presents Millsy, and all the packaging will be the same. So it'll be like a gradual sort of rollout to help to not lose any customers because people are hilarious. We're all brilliant. But as soon as we get in the grocery store, a lot of us are like, they forget. It's just like autonomic nervous system. They just put in what they remember buying. And if it's slightly different, they freeze. They're like, oh,
Like it's different. It tastes different. It's like, no, it's the same. It's the same thing. No, it tastes different. I'm like,
it's literally
it's
the same.
exactly the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's so funny. I
Um,
love the name Millsy. I think that's now that I understand it, because I was like, where did that come from? Now that makes some, I actually really love that name a lot. And
oh, thanks.
I think I like Spread'em, but I think I actually like Millsy even better. I really
Well, of
like,
course, there was a lot of controversy around Spread'em as well.
yeah.
So it will
Yeah.
be nice. I did get the odd letter and of people who were not satisfied with the naming. I'm like, it's obviously literal. We make spreads. You spread them on things. You spread them. But then, of course, hilarious, like, ooh, awkward. When at first, I never even thought of it until I got
Oh,
my
it's
very
so
first
funny.
letter, which was already 5 or 6 years in
Oh,
business.
no way.
I was literally shocked. I was like, "Oh my god." This person went all out too. They sent me a link to the Urban Dictionary.
Oh
They
my
went
gosh.
Oh, yes, they went on and don't read the link on the Urban Dictionary. Oh my god, you will be flabbergasted. I was like, "Oh my god, I can't leave my house."
There are some
Um,
people who have too much time on their hands, and I have experienced that on numerous occasions with customer emails. I'm like 2 paragraphs. I'm like, oh my God, you need to do something, my friend. Let me like send you a movie gift card or something. Go out, go
mhm,
do something.
mhm,
Spent too much
mhm.
time on this.
Yeah, so I was like, "Oh," or like some people say they're like, "I love your product, but like I hide the packaging in my recycling." I'm like, "Really though? Like nobody cares. Like they don't.
No.
The garbage man isn't like, "Oh."
Whoa, somebody's spreading them in the
I,
house.
I know. Does she have an OnlyFans? It's a page,
That's so
I'm
funny.
just like, come on. So there has been that sort of lingering in the background, I guess, this whole time. And perhaps it was beyond that too, like in some stores where we'd never been in. And maybe it's because they just never liked the name, but it's not quite anything you could ever talk about either. Right? No one's going to say that they have dirty thoughts. Of course they're not. They're not.
We're all pure. We're all totally pure.
Yeah, well, I am actually, and so that's why I
Never
was
even
like,
thought of
this
it.
was wrong.
There you go.
And so yeah, I think it will be a nice transition. It speaks more to the brand as a whole now.
Yeah.
Millsy does, and it will be a nice way to kind of like start off our 10th or 11th year in business.
Crazy. That's amazing. And so what is your BHAG, your big, hairy, audacious goal for Millsy, aka Spread'em?
Honestly, I don't know. I have this like the Rockefeller rules or whatever, and I always try to think of my BHAG. And even when you sent me this question, I was really trying to think about it. And I can't say that I have one other than obviously trying to get into the mouths and hearts of as many people as possible. To grow the revenues to $30 million would be great. But to really just continue to be this beloved brand because the people, but to more people. So to just reach more people because the people that know our brand and love our brand, like they are diehards. We have something really special in the just the love and joy that Spread'em Kitchen brings to people that I've never really seen for many other brands.
Yeah.
And so to be able to just get more people to know about the product would be really great.
I love that. And what piece of entrepreneurial advice would you give somebody starting out? What would be some piece of advice you give somebody who's just a newbie?
Oh, for sure. You got to make yourself, and if you're in CPG, you got to make yourself an account profitability spreadsheet
Mhm.
that basically works out every line by line, every single thing, every program percentage. Don't skimp on your 2% net 30. Put like every single teeny tiny little deduction on there and
Mhm.
really know your cogs and revisit your cogs frequently.
Over and
I
over.
literally look at my costs at like every month, of course, every quarter, do a deep dive on things. And we even have like twice a year, we put RFPs out just to sort of see what's kind of out there for our main ingredients and everything like that. And then I would say, don't skimp on your people in production.
Yeah.
Like, give them, if you can't pay them, like, you know, Costco hourly rates, which hardly any of us can, really make sure you're giving back in other ways, lunches or, you know, just celebrating them as often. We have an appreciation board back there. We have obviously do lunches. We can pay better now that we're, you know, longer in business. Like, but really, really, really spend the time to appreciate the people that make the product for you if you don't do it anymore.
Yeah, and that stand behind you, right? Like, because
Mhm.
that's one of the most important thing, that inner that circle. So aside from incredible business, you are a mom too.
Mhm.
How do you find time? This is always a good question I love to ask, for balance, if that word does exist.
Yeah, I'm in the camp that I don't believe in balance, but I also believe in being a great mother. And so our balance is my kid just does everything with me.
That's
Like,
amazing.
we don't have family time that's separate than business. Like, Ben, if I have to do a farmer's market, I might not work the actual market. My kid is waking up at he's 5. He's waking up at 6 a.m. with me. He's driving down to our kitchen. He's loading up the ice buckets for
Right.
me. He's, you know, if I get a new piece of, like, you know, a card or something I gotta put together, he's getting a ratchet set. I got a ratchet set. We're putting it together. We have things like family movie night and stuff, or my kid is obsessed with me at the moment. And so I go jogging usually in the evenings. And now he's started to be like, I want, look at me. I can jog. I can jog with you. You know, so because we created this relationship of just like, we just do regular stuff together. He loves vacuuming. So he got the wet vac. I got the regular vacuum cleaner. We just kind of go together. You know, I think that's how we do it. The same with my husband. Like, he works for the company now as well. Um, and we hardly see each other as well because he's more doing out on the road stuff and sales and merchandising and leading the teams that do that. And I'm more in the office and doing like those sorts of things. And so we just started making time to have lunch together in the office. I used
That's
to just eat
nice.
alone at my desk, and now he eats with me at my desk. And
Oh,
we
that's
started doing yoga together just before we have to go get Ben from daycare. So 30 minutes just up in my office. And it's been really, really great. It's definitely like heightened the spirits and sort of helped break how fast the day can go by. I guess that's one of my biggest, I don't know, like, I feel this desperation of how fast the day goes by. I feel like I just get here, and by the time I look up, it's 3:30 or 4, and I have to stop. I have to go get my kid from daycare or whatever and do these other things. And I'm just like, ooh, I feel like I did nothing because there's just so much to do.
I know.
So it's nice to have a little bit of that extra time in the office too, where we're doing stuff that's not just pounding the keyboard.
I like that. I mean, Michaela definitely, I mean, she's coming to CHFA with me this year, and she's always been at the booths working with me. Kind of the same thing. She's been kind of, she's a what's the word? Like a show kid. She's always been at all the shows. She's been on stage talking, like she's been actively involved in the growth of Erin Wellness. And in that, I think they really have a lens of appreciation too. At my birthday this past weekend, I mean, she did a beautiful speech and just talking about the things that we get to do together and how she gets to meet all these interesting people. And so she really is kind of the same as your son. She's rolled right into my world. So it's not like I'm at business and I'm busy. There are many times where I'm like, give me a second, let me finish the email. But still, she actively knows everything that's kind of going on in the business, right? She knows who my distributors are, my brokers are, my like the warehouse, like she knows everybody, right? Which is kind of interesting instead of this separation. So I fully agree with that, actively involving them so they become kind of part of it. So then you can do things together and kind of try to find that thing that, we call balance.
Yeah. And I think if it wasn't for a kid, I certainly wouldn't be making time to go to the lake and go paddle boarding or
Yeah.
like these things, because I am a hyper focused, obsessive type person who can just immerse themselves. And I wake up and it's 3 days later and I'm just working on these account profitability spreadsheets or like, something, or doing, research on competitors or innovation. I'm just very immersive that way. So it is kind of nice to have a little buddy who's just like, Mom,
100%.
play Lego with me. I would never normally play Lego.
Yeah.
I'm like, it took me a while to work up from like 2 minutes. I can probably do it now for about 25 minutes before I'm like, I gotta move. I gotta go do something else that's not Lego.
Can't do Lego anymore. So what is some ending questions? What is one thing you would tell your 20-year-old self?
Oh, you got this. You can do this. You are enough. You are everything.
Yeah, I love that one. What is your go-to treat besides spread 'em?
I'm really into, I always say this wrong, Chalk XL.
Oh, yeah. I know.
The peanut butter cups that are like not lightly sweetened.
Yeah.
Yeah, that hits the spot for me. Yeah.
And what is your favorite swear word? You can say it.
Yeah, it used to be motherfucker, but now it's just mother flower because I have a kid.
It'll go back to motherfucker in about 10 years.
Yeah.
It'll be like, that felt so good to say. You'll have that moment. I know it's funny. Sometimes Michaela will swear. I'm like, hey, no swearing. I know she does it when she's not around me, but I'm like, not around me. Even with my mom, if I swear on my mom, she's like, Erin, come on.
Yeah, watch that mouth out.
Watch the language, so it says you're always kind of not wanting to swear around your parents, but yeah. So where can people find you? What's the website, social media? Tell us where.
Oh yeah, so you can find us. We're pretty active on Instagram. I would say that's probably the most social outlet we're on. Spreadem_kitchen is our Instagram. We're on TikTok too sometimes. Spreadem Kitchen as well. You can go on our website. We're going to be opening up the website again for direct to consumer orders.
Nice.
Yeah, for winter and holidays. So look for that in the coming weeks. The web, that's
grocery stores all across.
Oh yeah, grocery stores. Oh my goodness.
How many grocery stores are you in? How many grocery stores are you in?
So many. I think we're like close to 2,000.
Amazing.
And we just got some new listings at Save On Food, so we have a bigger selection there, which is really exciting. We've got some more Loblaws stuff coming on, and so we're really ramping up. Our Canadian business is up about 277%, which is really, really exciting.
It's so exciting.
We made it through the pandemic storm and stronger than ever.
That's amazing. I love that. Well, thank you so much for taking the time and being here with me today. It's been amazing listening to you and learning all about Spreadem, aka Millsy. And thank you everybody else for joining us. Stay tuned next month. We're going to come to you with another exceptional person doing exceptional things. Have a great day, everybody.